ER wait times in this province just stuck in neutral. No progress being seen when you look at the median wait time in this province if you have to head to an emergency room in Quebec. The Montreal Economic Institute just looked into this. Emmanuelle Faubert joins us, authored the study for the MEI on the line. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So why did you decide to take a look at wait times in ERs?
Because the government has been looking at this problem for decades. It's been on the headlines for decades. And we're still not seeing any improvement. But what we wanted to see was really the evolution of the situation, what happens in the ER, how long people wait, and the evolution through time. So we could have a better picture of what is happening. So then we have a better idea of where we're starting when it comes to moving forward and having projects that will improve access to care for Quebecers.
Tell me about the metric you used here. So you looked at the median wait time, right? So basically the number that half are over, half are under, right?
Exactly.
Why did you choose that metric?
Because it really shows the typical stay of someone that goes into the ER. However, when you look at the average will be pulled by extreme cases. So that's why the median is not pulled by this. It really represents a typical visit. And we look at the length of stay. So that means from the moment you enter and register to the moment when you leave the ER. So whether that is because you're transferred to another department or you go back home.
And where did you get the data? Like, how do you get the data to do this analysis?
So it was an information request to the Ministry of Health. So that's how we got the information. And then we looked at the data and we made it into a ranking.
And does it matter where you live in Quebec? What about the regional disparities you're seeing?
Oh, there's a lot of differences. So in the province overall, we're looking at a median length of stay of 5 hours, 13 minutes. But for example, if you look at CESSS of Gaspésie, which is first place, their length of stay median is 3 hours, 12 minutes. But if you look at the Laurentides, last place, you're looking at 7 hours, 18 minutes. So there is a big 4 hours between the first place and the last place.
Does your analysis here offer up some solutions? By looking at this data, can we find answers?
The data we have is really about the length of stays for people that are ambulatory, people that were put in stretchers. So the data doesn't give us much information on that. It really just shows a picture of the situation. But at the same time, knowing that the plans we've made through decades, it's always basically to inject more money in healthcare, which we've been doing for over 40 years. So we're seeing that this method that we've been doing is not working. So we have to look at other solutions that basically think outside the box and see what can we do. And it has to come through innovation. What can we do to provide more care with the resources that we have?
How does Quebec compare to other provinces and other countries around the world that have universal healthcare systems when you look at that median wait time?
So we don't have the data exactly for the rest of Canada, but to give you an example, if you look at the Anna-la-Berge Hospital, in the South Shore, which is last place with a median length of stay of 13 hours, 4 minutes, you would have the time to take a plane, go to Paris, go to a nearby hospital, wait, and then come out. That would take less time than the median length of stay at Anna-la-Berge. So that is just to give you an idea. And if you look into Swedish data, 60% of people leave after 4 hours. 60% of people. And here we have 50% staying 5 hours, 13 minutes. So we can see that this is abnormal and it's really unacceptable.
So let me ask you this here, because you mentioned Anna-la-Berge Hospital in the South Shore, the Royal Victoria Hospital in Montreal. Those had particularly long wait times. You mentioned the 13 hours at Anna-la-Berge, 10 hours, 27 minutes at the Royal Vic. When the numbers are so high at a couple of institutions, you would think that would be such an alarm when they're so much higher than other places. Why do you think that is? That certain hospitals, even in the Quebec context, certain hospitals are just far worse than others.
So, unfortunately, we don't have data that allows us to really, really detailed to get into the nitty-gritty of things. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it, these hospitals are often in really large centers of population, and also these hospitals usually often have a large variety of services of care that they provide, and often these hospitals will end up dealing with the more complex and heavy cases. So these complex and heavy cases do require more time, no matter which hospital you go to. If you look, for example, in different regions of the provinces, you're often going to see that the CLSC usually have better median lengths of stays of the bigger hospitals. Part of it being because these CLSC in smaller centers only deal with minor problems.
A fascinating look at the numbers. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Emmanuelle Faubert right there authored this study for the Montreal Economic Institute.